Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to UuultraC. You know the drill, I just came back from the gym and ate some food, and here I am, starting another episode of UuultraC. So, it's been a while since I played UuultraC. I think a good 4 days. Since, if you guys are new to the channel, I actually make 2 playthroughs at once. So, one is this, and the other one right now, I'm playing Yaoi Labyrinth Mazer. Surprisingly, I'm actually more more excited when I get to play UuultraC compared to Yaoi right now. Yaoi, the first game was really good. I really think I rated quite highly. The second game, sadly, it kinda is mostly filler. Like the past 2 chapters that I played of that game is mostly filler, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. When the hell are they gonna actually go do the serious story? Because I've been getting 8 scenes, I've been getting some Kuna scenes. If you guys don't know, that we have a kid in that second game and he's kind of like the main character. But oh boy, I guess it depends whether or not you guys like the main character, quote unquote. If you guys like Kuna, you'd probably like that game a lot more than I do. But since I don't really like her that much, I kind of just don't feel, I don't feel as attached to her, and I don't get the sense of accomplishment when I do those events. But okay, enough talking about side stuff, let's actually talk about the last episode recap. Oh yeah, my PC was actually kind of going crazy yesterday. Like when I was rendering a video, it was turning on and off. So I thought it was the RAM as usual, but yeah, it turned on again after I removed the RAM and replugged it. But turns out there was some sort of static maybe in one of the connectors, because I kept hearing a buzz. And after I replugged like some of the PSU cables, thankfully everything is good to go. But yeah, that was definitely quite scary, since I didn't really know what was happening to it. But after I heard the buzz thing, I kind of knew it might have something to do with with static or whatever. Like, it can't be the PSU because it was running pretty well, so it's not like the PSU is dead or something. But I forgot where we are, so I'm gonna actually load the game first, take a look at the backlog real quick to see where we left off. If we even get a backlog right here. Okay, thank you. Okay, I remember we talking to Ishiki. I remember him kissing us a lot. And then we got his powers, right? And after that, he joined up with us in the detective agency, or, our place. He was our mate for a bit, and then Miyamoto came along with Sapphire, and then he felt left out, so he was running away. What else happened? He was, this is after we saw the Iron Giant, but before that, yeah, we actually went to Orange's base. We met up with the director, and he told us about this Yamada guy, or before that, there was another Yamada. It's the brother that the Yamada was missing. But, yeah, we went there, and then, the director is a schemer. He's for sure a schemer. We basically were dancing at the palm of his hand. We kept getting caught by people in the headquarters. Thankfully, Ishiki was there to save us. But yeah, I forgot what actually made Ishiki kiss us. I sorta remember it, but at the same time I don't. I think it was about like when Chotsugai doesn't want to see Ishiki anymore or something like that. I think it was when Ishiki told Chotsugai that he also had sex with the director because... Or no, this might be later on. I forgot what the reason was when he told us to... to get out of our face. Or to get out of our... Yeah, when we told Ishiki that. But I know that he wanted us to kiss him, which leads into us actually getting his powers. And that was the reason why he was staying with us. And then we left because we felt left out. And Ishiki actually got the power from Sapphire. And turns out what we said isn't really the truth. And it proceeded to have a pretty romantic 8 scene. But I don't really care about the 8 scene. It's romantic for most people, but I don't really think it's romantic. I don't understand romance in the same way that normal people do. I just don't see it, guys. That's just my brain not being able to see it, I guess. But after that, I believe we actually are in a serious situation here, right? I think Ishiki got his powers back after that, and he said that he actually wanted to kill Icarus. I believe that was what happened. Yeah, because we found out that he wanted to use... He had the ability to resurrect that kaiju, yeah, with the orange light thing. I remember that. And then he was trying to kill both Kozuka and Hayata. And this is exactly after we got into that scuffle with him. Well, it's not really a scuffle. We didn't really face him. It was the Icaruses that faced him. The rain poured down, turning the city gray. I hope I remember most of what happened there. I think that was it. There's a lot to keep track in this game, guys, and it's both a curse and a blessing. I like it, but at the same time, it's really difficult for you to know what the hell is going on after you take a break from it. The sun was behind heavy clouds. According to the TV, the weather would continue until tomorrow. He was doing this. He was probably using a kaiju like he had been doing this whole time. The hint he gave me was pretty basic. I could only guess he already had his next pawn. I opened a newspaper from the other day and found pieces to the puzzle. Fire at the orphanage. Wait. So by that point, is Sakura already dead? I don't think so, right? Sakura went to Sho-chan at his apartment. So Sakura did that herself. No. We're making assumptions here, Chosugai. A fire kaiju. A missing girl. The girl's name was Sakura. It was the girl I met at the police station.
雨が止む頃、あなたの町に火をつける。私とあなたの思い出の場所、止めたかったら探し当てて。
Neither of us had a connection to the city. I hadn't seen anything that reminded me of the past in these last few days. However, he must have seen something walking down these narrow streets. Something that brought back memories. I suddenly stopped. It didn't take me very long to find what I was looking for. The next morning, I found Kagome passing out flyers at Sushigaya Station. Found wasn't exactly accurate. I had heard from Miyamoto what his current situation was. As soon as I got out of the taxi, Kagome immediately put up his guard. I approached him with a serious look on my face.
Sakura-sanを探しているんだろう。彼女の行方が分かった。ついてきてくれ。
Yeah, we actually went the wrong way. Who gave us this info? Ah, it was Ishiki. Because we believed Ishiki, we actually led Kagome astray too here.
信じられません。
なら彼を呼んでくれ。
彼なら出版社に行っています。
I blocked his path before he could get away. I put Kagome through so much. Me? No. Why? I didn't do anything. Totsuke didn't do anything to... Oh, sorry. I thought that was Sakura for a sec. I'm like, what the? sorry, my bad. I had no idea how I'd get him to trust me this time. His glare was becoming even colder.
あなたが必死になる理由がわかりません。帰ってください。
ここへ来てくれ。子供の死体は見たくない。
I handed him a ticket. I know this won't make up for everything I've done to you, but please just take this. He looked into my eyes and could see I was being sincere. He then took the ticket without saying a word. The taxi I took to get here honked its horn at me from the opposite side of the street. Okay, I remember we also destroyed our car for some reason. Why was that? Someone destroyed our car, right? Who was it? I forgot whether or not it was a kaiju. It was something that he really cherished, and Ishiki was very mad by the fact that we didn't tell the truth when that happened there. Because he knew that we would never actually destroy the car. Because we got that car for him. I keep not really wanting to know, or I keep not knowing what to say, whether or not it's a him or her. I think he actually does think he's male, so I don't think he actually considers himself as a female. It's just Chotsugai, when they were kids, actually didn't know that she was a he, right? I got back in and told him to take me to Sangenjaya Cinemas. That was where I saw the memories yesterday. The movie showing there was Mother Bird. The director was Burai. The lead was Sayashi. Ishiki and I were supporting roles in that film. A man sat down next to me once the first part was over. He seemed to be watching the movie, but his mind was elsewhere.
恋人の秘密を知ってしまったとき、蝶つがいさんならどうしますか？本当にさくらちゃんは彼の妹だったのかな。怖くて聞けないんです。何も知らないんです。小塚くんのこと。
How would you love anyone that you don't know anything about? That's why I feel like most people kinda don't really understand what love is, guys.
彼がどんな男か僕は知る由もない。無責任な助言はしない。さくらさんに関しては以前言った通りだ。彼女のことは彼女に聞け。子供は嘘を突き通せない。ここにいればさくらちゃんに会えるって本当ですか？ああ。どうして蝶つがいさんがそんなこと？オレンジからの告発だ。助けたい。
Tsuyashi held out his hand toward me. The first half of the film closed, showing the strong yet fragile bond between young boys. What is the story of Mother Bird anyway? What is it about? I thought of Tsuyashi as my friend. I was too naive as a child to know the difference between a script and real life. Sadly, I was raised to forget the tragedy of my past and the memories I held dear along with it. Memories of Tsuyashi. My respect for superheroes. Suzu Ishiki's real name. Suzu. Is that the first time we've actually known that? Katsu. Katsu? How do you say that? I'm not very familiar with German, guys. I know that she said that, or he said that he was German. I saw his name in the credits. Oh, okay. That was the same name as the kaiju that killed my— What?! But Bell? That means he's not Bell? Huh? I don't get it. I thought that the kaiju that killed your family also hurt Belle's face. Huh? There were two guests at my house that day. Belle and her mother. She was always saying I'm sorry. The kaiju, oh, was Ishiki's mother. Oh. Okay. Ishiki's hint was a trap, one meant to keep me away. I ran out of the theater and into the shopping arcade. The rain had already stopped. People were crowded around an electronics store. Kagome and I pushed our way to the front and gasped at what we saw. The 6 TVs were flashing between red and black. A fire kaiju had appeared at the East Asian oil refinery. Red flames were forcing their way up into the night. The burning wires spat out black smoke. Kagome's eyes wavered as they watched the flames.
ここまで連れてきてくれてありがとうございます。
何を考えている？カゴメくん！
I grabbed his arm to stop him, but he shook me off and ran into the shadows of the buildings. I shouldn't have relied on his sense of justice. I shouldn't have brought him here. I was about to run after him, but something pulled my arm back. This disturbing heat belonged to.
君が向かってベルが不利になるのは避けたい。
I tried to shake him off, but couldn't. When I punched his arrogant face, I felt pain in my own for some reason. Red blood dripped to my feet. My nose broke, and only I was getting bruises.
あいつに何を吹き込んだんだ？
He had no family. You were the one who took him in. You were the closest one to him.
私はそっと背を押しただけ。無理強いは嫌いでね。
貴様さえ。
The sound of an explosion shook the ground beneath my feet. When I turned around and looked up, I saw black smoke spreading across the night sky. I think Ishiki said that he wanted to make a peaceful world for kaiju, right? His directionless rage was taking shape. Kagome was laying on a bed wrapped in layers of bandages. The heart rate monitor beeped at a speed characteristic of a kaiju and showed that he was still, albeit barely, alive. He wouldn't wake up.
すまなかった。
I wasn't sure if he could hear me.
君は間違いなくヒーローだ。
Did we hear this in Sho's perspective? I don't remember. I only remember Kozuka appearing. Kagome's eyes were closed.
カゴメくんの容体は？
助からねえって。
すまない。
So Chotsukai already knew that Kozuka was an Icarus, maybe?
なんであんたが謝るんですか？
僕があの場に呼んだ。
Oh, no, no, no. He grabbed me by the collar and threw me to the floor.
変身しろよ。叩き殺してやる！
君もあの場にいたそうだな。
If you could tell I was a kaiju.
君が赤いイカロスの一人か。
Okay, he just found out right here.
だったらなんだっつんだよ。
Because Kozuka knows when you see a kaiju, when he senses a kaiju. And even though Icarus is basically a kaiju, it's, I guess, different somehow. Probably a different sort of virus that came from Garino.
あんたを殺そうとしたこと恨んでんのか？
Huh? When did you try to kill us?
先に手出したのはてめえだろうが！悪玉怪獣が逆恨みしてんじゃねえ！
Oh, he's talking about generally.
アキラさん。
The next visitor arrived. His face went blank again as he fell into a chair.
道は違っても僕も君と同じ思いだ。信じてほしい。
He bit his lip. A stream of tears fell from the eye that was covered by his hair. I slowly walked away, hoping he'd come after me and stab me. Jeez, that's... Don't do that. Don't give that responsibility to other people, Chotsukai. If you really want to do that, do it yourself. The wind carried along the cold of midnight. I got into a cab and lowered my head without telling the driver where I wanted to go. My stomach hurt. It hurt. It hurt. I was born smaller than most babies. I heard that if my parents weren't rich and if I hadn't gone to the right hospital, I would have died. Whenever I'd fall, someone was there to pick me up. Whenever I'd cry, someone would come running. I mean, that's when your parents were still alive. Then my little brother was born. Everyone treated my brother, who was much smaller than me, with the utmost care.
ムカムカっていうのよ。
ムカムカ？
そう。シロは赤ちゃんにムカムカしてるの。
わかんない。
思い通りにならない相手にイライラすることなの。
病気なの？
うんうん。
ベルちゃんはすごいね。何でも知ってるね。
ママから聞いたの。
I woke up in a hospital room. I passed out and was immediately taken to the 24-hour clinic. I must have been given something to help me sleep. My heart ached in the silence. I tried muttering his name, but there was nothing but white snow covering the window. I checked out of the hospital and left. After such a deep sleep, my body felt light. My face was sunken. I could heal from any wound if I turned into a kaiju, but no one turned into a kaiju because they wanted to. No, I don't think that's true. This guy, that penis snatcher definitely wanted to turn into a kaiju because he wanted to. Besides, it's okay to look like this every once in a while, I thought. The mood of the city had changed overnight. The people of Tokyo were tuning their eyes and ears to their TVs and radios and were now questioning the morality of Icarus's deed. They were even starting to condemn him. No one in particular was behind these broadcasts. It was just the result of the vague sympathy people felt in their hearts toward kaiju starting to come together and grow. I got back to my office and went up to the roof. What, just because he killed Sakura? So sure, she was a little kid, but you saw that a little kid can also cause destruction. People need to fucking understand that just because they're little kids, they don't need our sympathy. I mean, I actually am in the position, or I'm in Icarus's side in this regard. I couldn't hear any nearby or distant sirens. No one needed Icarus anymore. Ishiki. I'd call out to him over and over again until he came to me. Even if he didn't come, I had another idea. He's gonna kill himself. I first saw it from the stadium poolside at the '64 Olympics. I dived right off just as elegantly as Ingrid Kramer. Unfortunately, my foot accidentally slipped. My vision went sideways as Ishiki caught me in his arm.
シロ
遅いんだよ。
He pulled me into his chest. Hearing his racing heart made my heart calm down. Honestly, I had a few choice words for him, but I couldn't bring myself to blame Ishiki when he was so frightened.
思い出したでしょ？
だから恨むとでも思ったか。
The wind swept away the clouds even faster. I mean, your mom is your mom, you know. I grew up in a very neglectful family, so I don't necessarily think what my dad does have any bearing with me as his kid. Sure, people are gonna judge me based on what he does and call me like, you're an alcoholic, or your dad's an alcoholic, then you're probably an alcoholic too. Your dad sleeps around, so you're probably sleeping around too. But I don't care. You really shouldn't be caring about other people's opinions. As long as you know what you're doing is, it's correct, I guess, in your own eyes. Like, everything else is like the wind whispers or something. I stood back on my feet.
お前の弁護士になってやる。
Yeah, Ishiki didn't do anything wrong because clearly he was also a target when the mom became a kaiju. Sure, my family died, but it's not like you didn't get out of it, unscathed.
ブライを訴えるぞ。
Was it really Burai though? That was. Is he really the ringleader though?
無理よ。
I mean, could be, I guess.
お前のしたこと全部 あいつに背負わせる。
Oh, he's talking about the current situation.
チャラにしたいなら僕に協力しろ。
He wrapped his arms around my neck and my stomach, clinging to me. Was it out of love? No. I realized it didn't feel like something as lukewarm as that.
イカロスを倒したいのは私だけじゃない。総裁は見返りに願いを何でも叶えてくれるとおっしゃった。
Why would Yomi do this or Hibarino? He was clearly close to Juro. And Juro clearly likes Yomi, right? Or Hibarino. Is it just an act?
そいつもまとめて裁判に。
総裁は人じゃないわ。怪獣でももちろんイカロスでもない。男でも女でもない。
Yeah, he's probably the one that spreads these virus called kaiju and Icarus in this world. Ishiki's body gradually became colder, harder, and wider. His form was changing.
お前の願いは何なんだ。
世界を怪獣に変えること。
そんなに怪獣が好きか。
ううん。全員殺すの。
I thought that you wanted to have a world where kaiju can live happily. Why the hell would you want to kill everything then? Why not just kill humans too? It's not like kaiju is basically, you know, it's not like kaiju equals evil. There are some evil humans too. Your reasoning is very flawed. Do all men who play with dollhouses end up like this?
いつか言ったでしょ。あなたを勝手に愛してるって。
I guess what Ishiki is trying to say is that he only wants to love, and he doesn't want to be reciprocated. To some degree, I kind of understand that feeling. His hand burst through my chest, holding.
あなたの気持ちはいらないの。
Yeah, I kind of understand him, actually. My beating heart. He kissed me from behind his mask. Those lips were inhaling my consciousness. "6 years ago, I had my first job taking photos of the Olympics. The winner of the women's 3-meter dive was a German representative, Ingrid Kramer. I saw a man in the crowded stadium seats with the same color hair as her. It was Ishiki. He had also seen me. My feet began to walk toward him. I didn't want to abandon my work though, so I stopped. I wondered if anything would have changed if I had gone after him. What if I had stopped him with a single word? What if I had called out his name? Perhaps things wouldn't have turned out like this for us. I woke up in my room. I mean, could be, but there's no point thinking in what ifs right now, Chosuke. My stolen heart was back on the left side of my chest. Ishiki realized he had unintentionally woke me up from my slumber. I swung my legs off of the bed. They were shaky. I wondered how many hours, no, days had gone past. It didn't look like I'd be able to walk right. Even if I have to crawl, even if I look ridiculous, I'll go after you this time. I'll give up everything I've built for you. My career, prestige, my honor, all of it, for you.
シロ。
I won't let you be the villain. Oh, this is when Kagome got picked up. Okay, it was us. I picked up Kagome, who was on the verge of death, and flew high into the sky where Ishiki couldn't reach. Yeah, I think Kagome was trying to get, or was getting killed by Ishiki or something, right? I'd been feeling strange. As soon as I woke up, I knew exactly where Ishiki was. His thoughts rushed into my mind as clear as spoken words. I now had all of the powers he had. Ishiki was collecting kaiju abilities. He also seemed to want Kagume's powers in particular. I needed to get him far away from Ishiki. I heard a voice calling to me. Toyusu. It was coming from where the World's Fair never happened. Is it the dad? I dropped Kagome into the wasteland. A man was telling me, "Please, save Shotaro." He only glanced at me once before taking Kagome away from this place. It felt as though he was telling me to follow him. But there was someone I needed to wait here for.
翔太郎くんはどこ
Ishiki. Why did someone who saw all these kaiju powers still need Kagome?
カゴメくんにはまだしていないんだな。
そう。するつもりもない。
Then why did he need to go after him?
あの子は怪獣の力が効かないの。逆を返せば何も使えない。
So he has a nullify ability for kaijus, I guess?
キスなんかしたら、せっかく集めた力がなくなってしまうでしょ
殺すのか。
いいえ。ただでは殺さない。
Why? Because you're kaiju? Can only humans kill, Shochan then? He was dressed in white, but his mind was pitch black. He passed by me and headed toward the sun pillar. I tried to stop him, but his armor wouldn't budge. As soon as he stepped into the pillar, he changed back to normal. Surprisingly, he was smiling. I succumbed to something different from horror or fear. He scooped me up into his arms and easily carried me. The reason why I'm saying that I'm able to understand Ishiki more so than Chotsugai, by the way, guys, is because, think about it. When you like someone, when you have a waifu, right? Waifus are very common in the anime space or in Japanese culture in general, right? I don't know whether this is commonplace or not, but when I think of a waifu, I don't think that they will ever reciprocate my own likeness towards them, my own fondness towards them. Some people can be deluded enough thinking that, yeah, the character that they like are gonna like them back, but no. In my mind, I like them, but they're not gonna give anything back to me, so... That's why I kind of understand the reasoning why Ishiki felt that way. He scooped me up into his arms and easily carried me.
美女と野獣の物語。シロは知ってる決められた相手としか結婚できなかった時代。だけど、相手を知ろうとすれば、野獣は王子に見えてくるって。あなたの気持ちはいらない。けど、昔のように愛されてみたい。いつか、私を許して。
Well, that's definitely different than what I felt then. Ishiki realized I didn't have the strength to transform. I guess it's different because Ishiki's feelings have a physical manifestation that he can pour his heart and soul into. While if I were to, let's say, like a waifu or any of these characters that's virtual, I don't really know where to direct it towards, other than my own sense of feelings. He pushed me. I fell backwards, scraping past the branches on my way down. What the hell? He was a beauty and a beast. He was a giant living in Wonderland. Despite all that, he was trying to act like a prince too? That was why I'd become the mirror that reflects the truth. Who do you think would suit a man as hopeless as you? I'd show him. The man from earlier was laying on the stairs across from Ishiki.
頼む。あの子を助けてやってくれ。
Those were the pathetic tears of a father. Seeing that, I remembered when I wanted to be a hero. Tall clouds rose before me. I could sense Ishiki was in this world, and ran down the path I came. Languages I'd never heard before danced around me. This was definitely a whole other world. This was the real Japan that held the World's Fair. Oh, I guess this is the Japan that branched off, right? When there weren't any kaijus, yeah. I mean, I did say that. But, you know, I didn't think that Ibarino actually kept this version of the world. I don't even know if this is a world that he kept or if it's just an alternate timeline that he wasn't able to get rid of. I don't know. I don't know his powers. I assume it was his own powers that made the world split in two, but maybe not. Maybe it was the law of causality or whatever bullshit. A siren rang out during the festival. The crowd saw a cloud of dust rising from the west and began to panic. Ishiki. I could sense his presence over there. The crowd thought it was a show and smiled. Eyes, lenses, and cameras all turned toward the battling superhero and kaiju. They were smiling because they knew the hero was going to win. But that kaiju was someone special to me. He was the loneliest person I knew. He was the man I wanted to be happy. He was my one and only love in this world. Someone, please. Let us start the... I guess she was gonna say over. A red shadow zoomed past us. He snatched Kagome aside, pulling him away from Ishiki's blade. His even faster fist dug into Ishiki's mask. The air shook and there was the sound of an explosion. A body went flying. Ishiki's transformation faded. Nevertheless, he stood up and faced Icarus with murder in his eyes. Ishiki was being driven into a corner. At this rate,
Ishiki!
he was such a bastard. Ishiki was at a disadvantage. He saw me, and the first thing he does is... Yeah, I actually remember this. Take me hostage. Actually didn't say that voice line. He was breathing hard right in my ear. He must have figured out my plan.
僕の心を読め。
シロ、
I'll turn into a kaiju. Use that chance to escape.
いや、できない。
ishiki!
As long as I can save you, I don't care if I die. That's not how this works. Just because you're happy doesn't mean the other person's gonna be happy. But I also understand that feeling though. But the whole martyrdom thing is such a stupid thing. I don't like it. He buried his eyes, filled with hot tears, against my shoulder. Seeing him like that, Icarus lost his strength and changed back to normal. He was laying down his weapons, so to speak. Icarus had saved us this time. He ended things without making Ishiki the villain. Suddenly, a crack opened up on the surface of the pillar. The rumbling shook through the roof, and the crumbling pillar cast a shadow over us. A lightning rod struck my shoulder, and orange blood came gushing out. I actually didn't see this. Isn't that Kagome? Oh, I guess this is Kagome's dad. He turned into a kaiju and did something, probably controlled by Yomi. He looked like the kaiju I saw that day.
ベルと呼んで。最後に聞かせて。
誰が言うか。
ひどいわ。本当にひどい人。
That made me perfect for him. Yeah, I guess at the end here, it's always gonna change perspective like this, just like in the first chapter, huh? When I was a kid, my mother would tell me I was pretty even without makeup. Every time she did, I'd look up at her and see what kind of face she was making. She always seemed happy the day she called me cute. She was in a bad mood on the day she said I was handsome. Becoming an actress was my mother's selfish dream. There was no way that would have been possible. Once my mother died, I was glad to finally be released from her grasp. But as the days went by, I could no longer look at my bony body the same way. The only time I could accept myself was when other people wanted me. I could now understand how my mother felt.
綺麗と言って可愛いって昔みたいにお願いしろ
So that's Icarus. He turned black for some reason. Is that our head? Don't die. His heart stopped and it became as cold as ice. No, it was me who was going cold. I could no longer feel his body heat. Hero's heart began to beat again.
あなたの命はあとわずか。
That's Yomi's voice. Marino. His voice.
代わりにこの方をお借りします。
Wait.
おやすみなさい。ベルクカッツェ。
That's it. There you go. Leader. So this is why Ishiki was very angry and wanted to go to the other world too. Because I find it weird that he was the one that took Chotsugai hostage and then suddenly he was spewing that bullshit about how he also had someone he wants to protect. I woke up with the shoe I had lost on my foot. It was mine, and yet it wasn't. The seal was definitely our leader's parting gift to me. I was alive somehow. I heard a single footstep. It was the Red Icarus. We had both been killed and brought back to life. I wasn't about to waste my precious last life on him.
あっちに戻る方法を教えて私は翔太郎くんを追ってここへ来たのあなたなら戻り方を知っているでしょ
変身しろ俺と戦え
I did as he asked and walked down toward him.
シロを助けた後でなら好きなだけ殴られるわ信じて
信じられるか
あの男のこと詳しく知ってるつもりよ彼こそオレンジの総裁あの声は間違いないわ
どういうことだ
Oh, they actually had a bug there. It was still saying red even though that was supposed to be him talking.
私たちは彼に命じられてきたのイカロスを襲うよう鉄人を動かす術を探すように
He lost his will to fight, but the face under his mask was as pissed as ever. But the guy's name was Taro?
こんばんは
争ってる暇はねえ
でもこいつは敵だぞアキラ
I lowered my eyes, indicating I had no intention of fighting. Icarus seemed inclined to trust me. The dog trusted Icarus, so he swiftly climbed up the pile of rubble. The destroyed sun pillar rose toward the starry sky. Red and I turned into our Icarus forms at the same time. So I guess it was Taro that actually turned into that pillar thing. It could really... it's so weird though that he can actually teleport. Even though he was the teleporter itself.
右目ってどっちだ
向かって左えおバカ
I passed through the right eye after him. This was how we got here.
ここは
We were greeted by the sea breeze.
総裁は私に翔太郎君を襲わせて博士をおびき出す魂胆だったのでしょ
そこまでして動かして鉄人って何なんだ。
う。わからないけどシロを傷つけるなら誰だって許さない。あなたもそうでしょ。
Kotaro had been taken away from him, and Shiro had been stolen from me. We had no choice but to join forces. We ran across the roofs of the buildings until he suddenly stopped. His ear was cocked to the side and his fist was shaking.
ジュロが呼んでる。
私は一人でも行くわ。
The vivid cityscape, the bright neon lights made a mockery of my heart. No matter how much noise there is, no matter how far away you are, I can always feel your life force. But now I can't find you anywhere. I landed at the stadium and headed toward the basement. The place where the Iron Man stood was now completely empty. I passed into the darkness at the side that was just as vast. There were still paths here I was unfamiliar with.
出る。
Director.
皆総裁に操られてしまった。
監督は無事だったんですね。
I mean, sure, but I don't think you were dumb enough to not know that you were being manipulated too, so you were kind of both using each other, aren't you? I couldn't sense anyone else around. The director's nonchalance made me nervous. I couldn't see into his mind, which was now completely tainted black. He had done it on purpose so I wouldn't be able to read it.
シロを見ませんでしたか？彼が総裁にさらわれて。
オレンジの総裁とは私のことなんだ。
But I thought that Hibarino was the... So was Hibarino just a camouflage? So you were manipulating Hibarino too? I guess? Maybe? We'll see.
あの方はあくまで人寄せ。
He quickly stepped up to me while I was still unable to move. He stuck a syringe into the arm I raised up. A clear liquid flowed into my veins. The director's lips formed his usual smirk when I threw the syringe away.
翔太郎君から拝借した。君はもう集めた力を使えない。
Oh, sorry about that. I actually damn it, my keyboard.
副作用の意向は口づけだけと思ったかい？
It was the director himself who had told me and the other members how to steal abilities and how to infect others.
翔太郎君の能力はまさに君が感づいた通り。
Does it actually make kaijus not kaijus anymore then?
怪獣の効力を失わせるものだ。
I see.
どうして？
Why did you do this to me?
少し遅かったね。
何のつもりですか？
シロ君はもうこの世にいない。
話してください。
私に従えばあの方の怒りに触れることはないだろう。
彼が何者か知っていたの？
ああ。
Even if I could read his mind, I'd never be able to understand him. I wanted to face him, but he wouldn't let go of my arm. This was the director's power. Whatever he touched wouldn't be able to escape. It was an awful ability.
彼は世界征服をしようというんじゃない。自分の星に帰りたいだけなんだ。そのためには足となる鉄人とリモコンを動かす翔太郎君が必要だったわけだ。
Yeah, so they were clearly both using each other, the director and Hibarino.
私たちは利用されたの？
いや、
見返りに人類を怪獣に変えるという約束は？
Bro, he clearly said that the leader is him. Come on, Ishiki.
嘘だ。私とベル以外を殺してくれ。それが本当の願い。
So, are you like some sort of weird, love infested? Are you some sort of freak yandere guy, director?
意味がわからない。
怪獣はイカロスに滅ぼされるシナリオになっている。
ふざけないで。
君とお母さんはよく似ている。
Ooh, this is his kaiju form. That's really, really villain-like.
彼女に会えない寂しさを君なら分かってくれるだろう。
So they were both already sleeping back then. And now that the mom's gone, you wanted to sleep with his kid, which is even a guy, but that's okay. Damn, this director's messed up.
シロー君は私が殺した。あの方に意識を奪われ、泣き叫びもしなかったのが残念だったけどね。
Debris fell around us, but he never took his eyes off of me. Okay, he looks like a dragon. No, not me. Wait, who's that? He wanted the faint image of someone else inside me. Oh, this is his real kaiju form, I guess.
お母さんそっくりな子を産んでくれ。
Ah, yeah, because kaiju can actually conceive children together. Doesn't matter whether or not they're guys. The pipe melted my skin as it pierced deep inside me.
この日のために何体もの怪獣を使って実験してきた。
So this guy was also doing it for quote-unquote love? You sure this is love, director? Or are you just a maniac?
お互い楽しまないと着床しないようなんだ。だからベル、私につられて笑ってくれないか。
I hadn't been fighting for this man. There was only one thing I wanted, and I'd killed anyone who got in my way. But that one thing was no longer on this earth. If this is my punishment, if this is retribution, it doesn't make sense for me to be here while you're not. I swallowed the piece of flesh I bit off. I bit even deeper into an artery as I pulled a part of him closer. I sucked in his blood and body heat. His eyes froze as they lost their light. Eventually, the night became quiet again. I changed back and walked into the darkness. I was following Shiro's faint scent. Red fabric was on the floor. I was determined to remain calm. Probably his body, right? But I doubled over and tears came flooding. Wait, did the director just die just like that? That was kind of anticlimactic. What a pushover.
シロ。
No one other than me could have recognized him like this. Our leader was looking down at me, his eyes as dark as a starless night.
新しい命令を下します。黒いイカロスを倒してください。
That's Juro. Why would you want to kill Juro, though? I thought that Juro really likes you.
いや、もう戦いたくない。
Or maybe Juro actually wants to die, I don't know. We'll see in the third chapter, I guess.
あなたはヒーローになれません。どんな姿になろうとも、あなたは地球の悪役です。
I mean, I don't care about being a hero. I don't mind being a villain. It's only in fairy tales that heroes always win, guys.
私は。
力をお貸しします。あなたが無事帰ってくる頃には、この方を元気にして差し上げましょう。
I didn't believe any of it. But there was something I always remembered at times like these. My mother would always give me a kiss before putting me in front of a camera. That was why my lips were always so bright. My dear mother, as much as I hated you, as much as I resented you, I still loved you. I don't get it. I mean, I dislike my dad too, but seeing him getting older and not being able to, do things that he used to be able to do. Kinda gives me sadness too at times. Does that mean I love him? I don't know. I feel pity for him, but I don't necessarily think that's love. He was a ruthless killer. He had laid me down in a forging press and slowly crushed me. Oh, this is the moments before Yotsuga died. Hooray, that bastard. He was smiling to the end. 1 second ago, my vision was turning red. Next thing I knew, I was waking up. There wasn't a scratch on me, and I felt none of the pain from before. Ripples were spreading through a puddle of blood. When had I...
おはようございます。怒ってらっしゃるということは問題ないようですね。記憶が戻らないこともあるので。それでは。
The black sand rose into the sky. I made more ripples in the puddle of blood. Where had my life gone wrong? It couldn't have been just me. Thousands of people must have made a bunch of little mistakes, stepped off the right path, and made things the way they were now. True. True, I guess. But what is the right path, Yotsuga? The hero's siren just kept ringing out. Kaiju were going wild and destroying the city. It was hell.
白
Wait, what the hell? Wow, you turned into something horrific. What happened to you? Is this because you absorbed the director or something? Ishiki moved his large body backward when he saw me jump down into the middle of it all.
ごめんなさい白私イカロスに勝てなかっただけどねこうして感染させて彼ば能力がたくさん手に入るの最初からこうすればよかったんだわ
If you really thought it was the right thing to do, you wouldn't be crying right now. I lit up everything I could see as if I were using the flash on a camera. The eyes looking at me regained their humanity.
どうしてあなたが
During that one time, they really had the flashback on this H scene, huh? I think I inherited your abilities along with your genes. What? Does that mean?
返して
Does that mean that he was the one that turned into the White Icarus right now?
それがあればイカロスに勝てるの
He came toward me to take them, even if it meant killing me. His mind was filled with nothing but noise, so I couldn't read it. If I didn't get away, he'd rip my wings apart. He did exactly what I thought he would. He came after my falling body. I chomped down on his torso and slammed him against the mirror-like wall of a building reflecting the light of the morning sun. The collector and owner of the show bar. The underclassman from college that changed from a woman to a man. From a man to a woman, sorry. The boy that looked like a girl who could read people's minds. The childish director who couldn't be stopped with mere words. And then there's me, a premature ejaculator made worse by my celibacy. If our side effects came from our instincts, I wonder what you must think of mirrors. I changed back to normal in midair. I flung myself off of the building. I didn't care if I fell to my death.
ここに長くいてはいけない総裁が倒されれば怪獣もその力もこの世界も消える
But I thought he went to space. He didn't get defeated? Or what? Did Hibarino actually got killed by Juro at the end? Huh.
あなただけでも早く
All the mirrors in the world shattered. Store windows, and mirrors, even earrings. You have the power to break any reflective surface. This is your true power. I mean, he did make us go inside the mirror that one time, right? So what is his actual power then? Living in the other world, right? Living in the mirror world. Sparkles were swept away by the wind toward the ocean. Despite the situation, it was beautiful.
これじゃ帰れない。
Tears fell from his lowered eyes. The right side of his face was blistered. He didn't even have the power to heal his wounds anymore. However, that scarred profile was the one that had saved me.
ベルちゃん、
I promised him that day. I may have been young at the time, but I had promised to give him all of my life.
愛しているぞ。
シロ。
The mirror world began to fade from the horizon. The end of the story came without a sound. So he went inside of the mirror together with him? Or something? Endless nights. Endless rain. Endless kaiju. Endless dramas. Didn't exist. That was why I was happy with what we were able to do in this moment. I guess we wanted to disappear together in that other world. You know, just two living beings alone in the world or something? I don't know. I was standing in my office. My shocked and pained face was faintly reflected in the glass window. I touched it and felt its familiar chill. I rushed outside. I found the unchanged Sanginjaya cityscape. The toppled buildings and the burnt-down train station were standing there completely oblivious. It was the same atmosphere I had experienced before. Bell. It was a world missing nothing but him. Is he really missing, Chotsukai? I headed out, relying on my memory, till I found him. The man was leaning back in a rocking chair, his left eye on the garden.
いやあ、シロ君。
Yeah, I'm guessing that everyone who died actually did get resurrected once Yomi went into space.
会いに来てくれて嬉しいよ。
It was only once I was standing directly in his line of sight that he spoke to me.
ベルはどこにいる？
さあ、忘れてしまったな。ただ覚えているのは潮の香りがしたことだ。私は追いかけて声をかけた。スカーフを落としましたよ。女の鼻から下は焼けただれていた。私は彼女の本当の顔が見たくてたまらなかった。
僕が聞きたいのは。
だから男に頼んで襲わせた。
That man?
生まれてきたその子こそベルの本当の顔を教えてくれると。
So confused. I guess the Belle that he was thinking of is actually the mom. I grabbed his collar and dragged him across the ground.
息子のことだ。
The me in this world had no memories of Belle.
あいつは今どこにいる？貴様なら知っているはずだろう。
He was the one who had brought us together, so he should know where Belle is.
この下だ。
Yeah, I guess because he didn't infect the mom. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense though. He said that he asked someone to actually assault Belle. So that means he's actually not Belle's father.
とっくに殺したよ。
What the fuck?
ホロコーストから逃れてきたと後から知ってね。戦争って怖いなあ。あっちではあんなに愛おしかったのに、こっちではこんなにも。
It wasn't that I didn't want to hear anymore. Because they weren't kaiju, they actually died? Because the mom wasn't a kaiju, she died then? It wasn't that I understood.
貴様さえ貴様さえあいつを守れていたら。
I grabbed a shovel and stuck it in the ground. Gorai watched me as he laughed. Oh, he's pointing at the ground. Buried them. No matter how much I dug, I couldn't reach him. The layers of dirt from the past were far too deep.
ネズミが食べてしまったんだよ。
Yeah, I'm guessing because there weren't kaijus here, the timeline actually went back to the original world, right? So maybe German people got... I don't know. They got fucked in the real world because of what happened because he was mentioned in the Holocaust.
骨も私の罪も。
The western sun cast a shadow of a broken man over me, who was just as broken.
私を殺すかい?
If I swung the shovel down on him, I could kill him. I wanted to find out what color his blood was. However, I lost the strength in my hands.
法で裁く。
It wasn't because of the war. It was his own sins. Law firm was written on the window of my office. Even in this world, the words detective agency were also written here. There. It was late at night, but the phone still rang. I pulled out the phone line and looked around my room. Even with the lights off, the neon lights still made it bright. I wondered what this world's me lived for. I had my kind parents and my dear little brother. They're still alive in this world, yeah. Because we never met up with a kaiju. I read the eulogy at my grandfather's funeral. I went to college for myself and graduated. But there was no one I loved. There was no one I wanted to protect. I mean, you probably lived for yourself, Totsugai. That's how I'm living. Currently. That's how we do. That's how we live life when we don't have anyone we love. We love ourselves. I had built this castle of mine. For some reason, I always felt lonely. Detective. Did you quit doing that too? You wanted to paint there so badly, but it must have been hard to remove. My office chair, my phone. I threw everything in my sight. Don't cry. Don't cry. You're a man, aren't you? It's not over yet. I mean, males can also cry. Like, who cares, guys? We're both humans. Why did he want to die? I must have studied law exactly for this reason. It must have been my duty to take Bri to court. It was the only way I could mourn him, after being left all alone.
ベル。
Bell. Bell. Bell.
ベルちゃん。
I curled up on top of the glass. Once the trial was over, the prosecutor said this in a terribly composed voice.
ですから、無罪です。被告人は心神喪失状態。刑法第39条にあたります。
待ってください。精神鑑定の結果をどうして今さら。
How many days did he think had passed between his arrest and his trial? I ran up to the prosecutor and stood in his way. Wanting to grab him, my fists clenched as I once again looked him in the eye.
勝つからロビーで待ってろって言ったのは貴様だろ
君の精神状態も危うい。
The trial was doomed to fail from the start. There wasn't enough evidence. All that was left was a record of Burkatsu. That's so hard to say. Entry into the country.
無能ども。一人じゃない二人死んでるんだぞ。検事としてのプライドはないのか。
事件を抱えているのは君だけじゃない。
Sadly, that is the reality of things, Chutsugai. One people, or one person, two people. If it's not someone that we know, we wouldn't really care too much. The prosecutor walked away. Unable to respond to his statement, I stood there frozen. People were calling the kaiju incidents in their memories invisible corpses. Cases were open to humor the victims. The trials were just for show. I walked through Kasumigaseki, holding back my endless tear. I'd been in a mental hospital for the last 2 months. I'd even gone in and out of confession. The priests would look at me with indifferent eyes and repeat the same thing every time. What can I do? I can't prove you existed in this world. Before I realized it, I was standing at the platform in Shimbashi. The white line blurred and I couldn't see it anymore. I had done this hundreds of times. I'd hold myself back and never step forward. I didn't want to die. I just thought the more the risk of injury to myself, the more likely he'd come rushing to me. You better come quick. If you don't, I'll fall. I thought to myself over and over again. Train to Shibuya was coming. As soon as I stepped over the white line, a slender hand pushed against my back. What the fuck? Is that actually how this chapter ends?
あなたはまだ死にたくないそうよ。
Okay, holy shit, that actually, what the fuck? If that actually was how it ended, I'm like, holy fuck, that was dark. The one who pushed me and stopped me was a woman. Is this that Aitsume girl that we saw at the very end of chapter 1?
復讐をお考えならどうぞここへ。
The doors opened and people boarded the train. I couldn't take my eyes off the woman even as the crowd pushed against me. I'd been gripping a single business card in my hand at some point. Ikami. That was the woman's name. I met that woman at Shimbashi. When I turned the business card over, it had Midnight Tonight, Shimokitazawa, written on the back. The moonlight shone on my wristwatch. 10 o'clock. I've been glaring at the business card for 5 hours now. The scrap of paper was hardly credible. Nevertheless, even if I had the resolve to rip it apart, I wasn't able to leave it behind. It was like the sudden downpour was keeping me here. The windshield wipers spread the colorful raindrops and turned them into a rainbow. I enjoyed my life the most when I went out at night. When I saw the bright neon signs, it felt like it was okay that I was a fool. A woman was standing in front of the Shimokitazawa train station. I opened the window and waited for her to speak.
蝶つがいさん、こんばんは。
You're a kaiju? What the heck? Why do you have orange eyes? How did she know my name? Those neon-colored eyes could tell I was dumbfounded.
復讐を依頼したい。
On who? Mirai? Her white teeth glowed a little in her mouth. After seeing that malicious smile, I opened the passenger seat door. I drove the car into a back alley.
王ブライの弁護士は明日の航空券を入手しています。塀に逃げたふりをして明日には退院する魂胆でしょう。
Is that true? The woman brought her face close to mine.
王ブライを殺すのです。それこそ彼が最も恐れていること。
Is that really what he's truly afraid of?
君。
ですが私の考えた復讐方法なら 罪に問われず完遂できます。それでは明日の昼、成田空港でお待ちしています。
So what is this epilogue, bro? This is so much darker compared to Shio's epilogue, which is just us having fun and having sex with Kozuka. The woman got out of the car. Her dark umbrella faded into the light of the city. I had plenty of questions for her. I stuck a cigarette in my mouth to keep me quiet. Every time I tried pursuing Belle, I kept hitting a wall. It's impossible, so give up. Find something to live for. Reality beat me down day after day. I wanted to be at peace. If I was going to die alone, I'd at least like to die while I had Burai by the color. I drove down the highway under the blue sky. Mikami was in the airport parking lot, carrying her trademark umbrella. I opened the passenger door. She got into the back seat. She then handed me a revolver from between the seats.
気づかれないよう近づいて、服の下でそっと引き金を引くだけです。
Guess we have a silencer.
ただの殺人じゃないか。
いいえ、あなたも彼と同じ狂人になるのです。
Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, huh?
今からあなたに狂わせの暗示をかけます。
This girl a kaiju? What is she?
この暗示はあなたの意志では解けません。
She lowered her clear eyes, and I could see my emaciated and pathetic reflection in them.
頼みがある。ブライを殺した後、自分も死ぬよう暗示をかけてくれ。
I think most people that live for revenge probably wants that after their revenge is fulfilled.
本当にこれでよかったのか。
There was no way Ishiki was in heaven. He was probably waiting for me in vain at the gates of hell. I don't believe in both heaven or hell, so I don't believe anyone is waiting for me anywhere if I die. I believe I'll die alone. Imagining him there made me smile for the first time in 2 months.
それはできません。あなたはブライの他に手当たり次第殺人を犯してもらいます。
どういうことだ？
Are you gonna be like a serial killer? Gonna kill everything in sight? You know, those crazy shootouts that happen sometimes in America?
私の父さんは異常者に殺された。犯人は塀の中で何不自由なく生かされている。
So, why do you want me to do it and not you yourself, bitch?
あいつのような犯罪者を増やして刑を重くすることが目的なんです。心配しないでください。もうすぐ罪の意識も消えますから。
Not even wanting to dirty your own hands, huh? What a bitch.
また会いましょう、蝶つがいさん。いつか地獄で。
I don't believe in hell, Mikami. I really had no luck with women. I was lifted up by invisible strings that made me walk in a daze. I personally don't believe in hypnotism too, so it probably wouldn't really work on me. I passed parents with their children. I passed couples. I hid the gun in my right hand under my coat as I looked for the target of my hatred. Like, hypnotism is basically just suggestions that, you yourself want to believe in the first place, usually. I heard someone humming. He waved an imaginary baton as he parted through the crowd. He headed for his gate without noticing me in my haggard state. The ticking of my watch, my heartbeat, and the noise were all now going in slow motion. I'd kill him during this moment. It seemed to last forever. I'd kill him. Kill him. If I was going to die alone. But what would happen to my sense of justice? A large figure wrapped his arms around me. The sun was hot and bright. But perhaps it was this shadow that made my body run cold. He embraced me, giving me back my warmth. It was like he was picking up a broken doll.
ベル
Airports were like that. They were a place where people who would never see each other again would gather and let their tears be swept away by the Sanzu River. Burai's back grew distant, then disappeared into the crowd. I was oblivious to everything I had while I was alive. I wasn't even grateful for it. I stabbed Bell in the stomach with my left hand.
違うんだ
Huh? Is this even real?
平気よ。痛くない。
Are we like delusional right now? What is going on?
違う僕はこんな
静かにしないと捕まってしまうわ。
The same words he told me that day brought me back to my senses. I let go of the knife and stepped back. I'd been hypnotized to stab anyone who touched me. Bell did his best to smile to calm me down. His smile suddenly vanished as he leaned against me this time.
車へ連れてって。
How is he still alive though? So was everything that he said a lie then? What Burai said? I mean, I guess he just wants to fuck with us. Wow, what an asshole! If I was going to take an injured person anywhere, it'd be the hospital. I was anything but calm, but I did as Bell said.
大きい声。
止血しないと違う
そうね。
血が出てない
Huh? What is going on? He opened his hand, revealing a spotless knife. What looked like a knife while I was under the spell of madness now looked like a toy in his large hand.
塚を押さえていたの。
痛がってたのは
こうでもしないと簡単に車に乗せてくれな。
What sort of garbage?
刺激様
それは危ないわ。
Why do you still have the scar though? You shouldn't have that. Because your mom didn't turn into a kaiju.
どうして
隠れていてごめんなさい。
Hiding? When I calmed down, he gently took the gun away from me. I watched him deftly remove the bullets, not sure what else to do.
あなたの幸せを考えたら、私はいない方がいいのかもって。でもね、あなたを思わなかった日はないわ。私のために。ありがとう。
本当に分かってんのかよ僕がどれだけ貴様を
Mean.
分かってるわ。
適当なこと言うんじゃねえ
I dug up graves to search for your bones. I went to America to find your immigration papers. I gave up everything, all of it for you.
ウランから全部聞いてたの。
Guess we still know Miyamoto here. That bitch had a soft spot for Ishiki. Ishiki pulled my shaky body onto his chest. He then hesitantly stroked my hair as if we were petting a cat.
好きな子できた？
はあできてねえよ
あら。
Don't act all excited after going on about wanting my happiness.
意識
I ruined my career and reputation. I let everyone see just how much of a fool I am. I would never do that for some girl or guy, to be honest. I am too much of a realist. And then he just comes waltzing back into my life.
貴様は一生許さない
I beat against his chest, then kissed his stunned lips. Alright, Are we gonna have sex too at the end of this? Oh my god, this is so loud! There we go, I lowered it. Holy shit, that was loud. Wait, that's the end, really? Are we not gonna have sex? No, I think we will. I think it's gonna be after this, and that's the epilogue. It almost got me though, it was really depressing there at the end. I think this music is definitely more my thing than the first chapter one. Song's called UuultraC. What does that mean? Yeah, that's more my kind of music compared to the first one. Alright, let me bump the volume again. Long narrow leaves cast their shadows over the subtropics. The noise of the waves flowed from right to left. I sat in the shade of a palm tree and watched the landscape go by. A beach ball bounced over. Are we going on vacation? It fell right in front of me. It was a certain night in June. It was barely summer, but they had taken me to the Hawaii Nishitama district. This is a Hawaii in Japan? Hawaii equivalent? Well, more like forced me to come alone. So Miyamoto, do you have a dick? In this one, technically you were never a kaiju, so I'm guessing you do have a small dick or whatever. But yeah, my friend is probably gonna enjoy this fan service. Seriously?
嫁入り前の女がそんな格好して。いや、すまない。
These guys were such a headache. What was I doing in a place like this? I'd closed down my law firm and restarted my photo studio. There were now two sets of memories inside of everyone. People who were realizing how important it is to document things were coming in and keeping me busy. This was my first day off since opening my studio where I could leave my camera behind. Well, it was supposed to be anyway. Azaikyousuke Summer Kingdom. It was a huge amusement park with an indoor pool. Ignoring the fact that someone like me wouldn't want to go, they had already bought tickets without asking. They even bought tickets for Ishiki and me. 2 days, 1 night even. Yes, and this is gonna be where we're gonna fuck. Ishiki played with the beach ball with his usual look of indifference. Whenever I saw him hit it back though, he seemed to be having fun. That made us enemies then. Suddenly, I heard a scream come from my right. A large wave had knocked Miyamoto and the others over. At least they were having fun.
あれ社長石木さん追いかけなきゃ。
いいえ。そっとしておきましょう。
I went down the hallway and headed toward the lodge. I just wanted to escape the tropical air, but I couldn't bring myself to lift my face. I sighed, feeling like an immature adult. I wasn't going to blame Miyamoto. I'd been busy, so she had gone out of her way to arrange for a ticket and lodge for me. I never asked her to, though. I hadn't gone into the lodge yet. I was greeted by the smell of roses and could feel my knees going weak. What the hell? There were bright flowers spread all over the king-size bed. What did that bitch tell them when she was making reservations? I was going to clean up the flowers, but felt bad when I thought about how they hadn't been grown because they wanted to. Exhausted, I lay down. Hey, don't go soft on me now. I immediately changed into my regular clothes and left the room. I didn't need to be here. I rushed into the parking garage where my car was parked. They could take their sweet time walking to the train station. I'd be heading home on my own private railway. I leaned forward and slammed on the gas while I fumbled around for something on the dashboard. Once I was surrounded by cigarette smoke, I could finally let out a sigh of relief. This was just fine.
シートベルトを忘れているわ。
んでいいんだよ。
Ishiki was sitting in the back seat. I picked up my cigarette and took a puff with a straight face, then exhaled a thick cloud of smoke.
そっとしておくとか言ってなかったか。
放っておくとは言ってないわ。
へりくつ言うな。
戻る気ない？
ないに決まってるだろ。だが、おもりがしたいなら送り返してやるが。
You want to enjoy yourself with those idiots.
先に帰るって伝えたわ。シロと一緒にね。
He gestured for the ashtray. I tossed it into the back seat and slammed on the gas even harder. As soon as I got onto the Chuos highway, it began to rain. I could see Ishiki's profile in the rearview mirror. He hadn't spoken since earlier and continued to be unusually quiet. The other day, Ishiki mentioned there was a phrase he liked a lot. It was, "Let sleeping dogs lie." Suddenly remembering that, I had an even better idea of what was going on right now.
ガキの提案ならまだしも、宮本の野郎。お前もお前だ。
I don't get it. What are you talking about? I was lashing out. I was about to let those sleeping dogs lie.
一生懸命バイトして貯めたんですって。それを聞いたら、ね。
Sapphire liked to surprise people. It was that pure heart of his that had won over Miyamoto's wicked soul. But...
僕とあいつら、どっちが大事なんだ。
Oh my god, what the fuck, Chotsugai? This is ridiculous. Your time with me? Or your time with them? I really was immature. I resisted the urge to slam my face against the steering wheel and somehow managed to look ahead.
あなたに決まってるじゃない。だから追いかけてきたのよ。ウランたちのことは気にしなくて大丈夫。代わりに泊まっていくよ。 言っておいたわ。
そうか。
許してあげて。
別に怒ってたわけじゃ。笑うな。
He turned his smile toward the window again. I blinked when I saw that profile. I've become a photographer to take pictures of Ishiki. I hadn't taken a single picture of him yet, though. Even though I was the one who told him we should live together, we hadn't touched each other since. I couldn't be honest. All of those things were grinding on my nerves, but... Can't I find out why you're here with me? What are you talking about? He clearly likes you. Or what? Do you think he's here just so that you don't kill yourself? That what you're thinking right now? The red corners of Shiro's eyes were twitching. His lips were pursed, holding back a mouthful of words. Shiro cleared his throat while tapping his pinky against the steering wheel.
行きたいところはあるか？
そうね。帰りましょうか。
It was already late at night. Shiro always stuck to a routine, so it was bedtime for him.
僕に気を使うなら解消を発揮できるよう気を使え。
What, do you want me to say you should go to a hotel? It was difficult to understand as usual. He frowned, annoyed when I couldn't help but smile.
素人一緒ならどこだって楽しいの。だからどこかへ行こうとか考えもしなかった。
It's a nice line. Still looking sour, Shiro mumbled, stingy.
あなたほど高い人はいないわ。
He seemed so honest and cute back in the day. I thought maybe he had changed, but... Maybe the selfish and cruel Shiro was the real him. Besides, I was happy that the two of us could be together as we were.
それとも誘ってる？
I gently wrapped my arms around him from behind.
2日もお休み取るなんて嬉しくて2人に話しちゃった。
やっぱり貴様が漏らしたのか。
でもこんなことになるとは。
おかげで半日無駄にした。
Despite his words, his body was hot. I closed my eyes and nestled close to him. I brought my lips to Shiro's ear.
好きよ。止まっ
What is that stupid? What the fuck? What do you call those things again? Ellipses or whatever? What a terrible person. He was always making me be the one who say it. For better or worse, he was an awkward man. Shiro turned down the interchange without saying a word. It was a little cold when the elevator opened. When I leaned against Shiro, he was extremely warm, which only made me feel colder. I thought this was
ば
summer.
かり見るの。あなたの家族に責められる夢。
You only let me meet them once 2 weeks ago. I had plenty of thoughtless words thrown at me, and I thought I was used to cruel remarks. And yet, the words his family had for me hit me hard. I'd wake up, remember, and sigh. He slept in his room, and I slept in the guest room. We woke up in separate places, so he probably never noticed.
だが別に何も変わってないだろ。
Even if they don't accept us, our relationship won't change. Hiro blurted out. But
あなたの家族にも好かれたい。
you can't force someone to like you, you know. They have their own opinions, Ishiki. I wanted their blessing. I wanted what every other man and woman in this world could have.
贅沢だ。僕はお前がいらない。お前もそうであれよ。
He was willing to be alone for me. I really was the worst. Happy about that. Maybe pretending to be vulnerable every once in a while was a good thing. As soon as we got to our room, kissed in front of the door. I pushed them against the wall and caressed his neck.
シロ
Alright, show the dick so that I can stop this. So I can just whip out my phone, open up Twitter, look at some, you know, hentai art or something. I couldn't believe we hadn't touched this whole time. The way our brakes were failing now. When I stole his breath away, he grabbed onto my clothes. I knew he was trying to tell me he couldn't breathe, but I playfully ignored him.
入れたいそれとも
His eyes opened wide when I gently pushed against his knee.
どっちにする
いちいち。
後で嫌がられたら傷つくわだから教えて
I wrapped my hands around his cheeks and teased his burning ears. He moved his lips a little when I gave him another light kiss.
どうせ入れたいんだろ。
This is so dumb.
そうよ
じゃあ聞くな。
情緒ってあるでしょそれあなたのおねだり聞きたかったな
You have a sadistic streak, Yushiki. I lifted him by the back and thighs and somewhat forcefully threw him onto the bed. He looked at me, clearly angry, when I slid between his legs.
情緒がねえのは貴様だろ
リードしてくれるつもりだった
じゃなきゃ誘うか。
I guess it was pretty difficult to understand. Either way, I didn't hate this kind of back and forth with Shiro while he tried to piece everything together.
靴紐と低層って同じ硬さなの白の靴紐肩結びなのね
I couldn't pull off the boots that went past his ankles no matter how hard I tried. I'd already taken off my heels. I tried to untie them, he strung them too tight. I gave up and let go. I put my hands on his belt and said,
自分で脱ぐ。
このままでいいわ
I pulled his pants down to his knees, taking away the freedom of his legs. I pushed him down and lifted his underwear slightly. He was still limp, so he must have been nervous. He smelled like chlorine, probably from the pool shower. Alright, I think this is gonna be where we're gonna call it. Patreon.com/Azaikyousuke if you guys on YouTube want to see this. I personally think these scenes are, you know, not needed. But it's whatever. They're pretty short, so I don't really mind them as much as I do as when I'm actually playing a fucking Nuki game. The story in this game is actually pretty darn good, so that's why I don't mind some slight smut or fujos out there. But yeah, people on YouTube, I'll see you guys once this scene is done. People on Patreon, enjoy? Question mark?
綺麗ね
Wow, that was it. There was nothing else past the 8 scene there. Alright. I guess that's where I'm going to call it an episode right here. My audio interface actually bugged the game because it was kind of like glitching out during the 8 scene, so I had to restart the game there. But don't worry, with the power of editing, I will be able to maybe stitch it back together. I don't think it was all that much that was lost though, hopefully. But yeah, I guess this is, like I said, where we're gonna call it an episode. I have been really enjoying UuultraC. I really didn't know what I was getting myself into when I first started this, but 2 chapters in, I'm really enjoying it. Chapter 3, I don't know whether or not it's gonna be as enjoyable as Chapter 2, but Chapter 2 was very enjoyable for me. Chapter 1 was decent. It kind of got the base, you know, it kind of set up the setting, kind of gave us some insane, like, scenes that we don't understand about, but Chapter 2 was full-on explanation and whatnot. And Chapter 3, I'm guessing, is about, you know, Yomi and also Juro, which we haven't really known anything about yet, to be completely honest. So we'll see whether or not that's gonna be good. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. What's up if you guys haven't? Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. I don't really think the uncensored things are really that needed, guys, so people on YouTube memberships, you don't really need to care too much about them. If you guys are on that membership, I really think Patreon is probably the better place. It's the same price, guys. Also, for people on YouTube that aren't on Patreon just yet, feel free to become a free member, because that's gonna be where I put first episode previews of future playthroughs. Alright, see ya!